Sige, Juan.
So, good afternoon, sir, and everyone. This afternoon we will be going to interview one of the former director of MG Director. My first question, sir, is when you look back on your leadership path, what do you think was your biggest accomplishment so far and why?
So far, one is empowerment. My goal is to empower young people to become an effective leader of the church in the future. It's not about the program. No, bigay ko programs ka na. Example, advanced classes. For me, it's not an achievement for me. One of the achievements for me, biggest achievement so far for me is how I empower young people. Empowerment, meaning to say, to give them the chance to lead, training them to lead in the future. For example, one example is, look at those theology graduates. They are now doing Pathfinder class in their churches, in their field. So that is my goal. For me, it's an accomplishment for me. Because it's not only that they are master grade in advanced classes, but that's part of the program. But what's really the biggest is they can lead their own club. They can lead. That's one. That's empowerment for me. Number two. Number two.
Okay. Thank you so much for the knowledge that you have shared to us, sir. We learned that it's not all about the program; it's about the training.
For me, yes.
As the leaders in the making, your answer is very valuable for us because yes, there's a lot of many good programs, but not all can manage to survive in the program. So it is our or responsibility of a leader to empower others to continue to that kind of program. So question number two.
If you will not empower, if you will not empower others, who will lead?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What if you will? What if you are not there? Who will lead? Who will continue the program? Program itself are there. That's normal. But the question, who will lead? Even if it's you have a good program from the church, but no will lead, right? So it's in vain. So you should. That's one for me. Empowerment.
Question number two. As a former leader, how do you see your industry evolving? So, what advice would you give aspiring leaders on how to handle a certain crisis?
First is, I believe that, example, master guide, it's evolving actually. It might be, I will see 10 years from now, it's more on e-skills. More on e-skills for me. Before, mga basic skills na na-tying, and so on. But time goes by, I believe 10 years from now, more on e-skills, more on digital skills, more on call this one, in media skills. More than that, we can still use those basic skills. But for me, in my own opinion, it will evolve really into more on e-platform now. Now, second question, how?
What advice would you give aspiring leaders on how to handle certain crisis?
Okay, here, first, you have to seek God first. That's normal. You will undergo certain crisis. First, you have to seek God first. you have to get source from the real leader.
Yes.
Next is you should be transparent in handling crisis. You should be transparent. Um, why? And also you should be a role model. That's for me. That's two. One is seek God first. Next is transparency and should be a role model. Example, you will give this. You can give some advices to solve this one, but in yourself, you did not apply it, right? So for me, that's it should be you should be it should be aligned. It should be um, as a leader, you should be a good role model. Next,
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
gusto niyo question nila ba? Kung ano tagbanan niyo?
Brian na sir.
Sige, next.
So, sir, question number 3. So, what are some of the traps that leaders, so in your opinion, fall
Yes.
into? And then what causes that thing to happen?
Okay, for me, one is self-gratification. Once a leader will think of his own self. Example ba? I do this one, I do this program, it's a successful one. Self-gratification because of me. For me, it will lead to distraction. It will lead to a distraction because you think of yourself and then pride na yun. Pride and then pride go with distraction. So if you think of yourself, self-gratification based on yourself, I do this one because I'm the leader, I'm the director. No, more master guides are involved because of me. No, and successful camping, no, successful activities. If you think that way as a leader, it will lead you to a distraction, and that's a trap for me. It started with self-gratification.
Okay, sir. Medical bagay.
Kanan, first of all,
So a leader should not be self-centered.
yes. The more you think of yourself, the more, for me, the more will lead you to distraction.
Every program must center to others.
Yes, and it should be. You should think that this program will glorify God, not yourself. The moment you think that way, patay. It start with downfall. Downfall to God as a if you think that way. But if you think of that God will be glorified, it's a good perspective. Tanan, all these things that I do this one because to glorify God and not myself.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hindi kasi pumunta na sir.
Kamo may pangutanan na iso mo pang Miss Universe.
So, sir, number 4 question. Taas ba niya?
Sige.
Say, what words of wisdom can you impart to today's church future leaders occupying various positions? So, what words of wisdom can you impart to today's church future leaders occupying various positions? So, how would you advise someone who is having difficulty in leadership role?
Okay. For me, my advice is always think that your position is a ministry. The moment you think of position is power or to be famous, for me, I think it started the downfall of your leadership. But if you think leadership is a ministry, every position, example, you are a future, you will be a district pastor, and then I know God put you there. Think it as a ministry, because if you think as a ministry, you forget everything. You only focus on God. Okay, it's a ministry, man. Next is just be future leaders in the church. Be transparent. Again, transparency. Transparent. Be transparent to others, and always always think of service. You do this one because for service. I do this one because it's my ministry. I do this one because for service. And transparency. They can see you, ano ba? Walay tinaguan daw. Okay. No hidden agenda. Kaya example, gusto pa, I want to become this one. I want to become a leader of the church. And then you have hidden agenda. So people can know that one. People will notice that one. But for transparency, transparent ka, there's no problem for me. I think you will be successful. And I experienced that one. When I was still in, because I'm a product of church-based leader ba? Hindi ako product, so I know based on my experiences. Next.
Sir, okay. Last question. What guidance can you give us, pastors, on decision making? What guidance would you offer regarding handling crisis in the field?
Okay. You know, kind of crisis or decision making is very important.
Yes.
It's a very important skill, especially when you will become leader or will become future pastor in the field. First is this one. You should seek data and validate accuracy. Example, you have to ask suggestion. Example, this is the problem. You should ask others how to solve this one. Do you have opinion how to solve this one? Then seek data. Then based on that one, you will come up to a good decision making. Well, for example, in adding instances there sa Master Guide Club, I've experienced that one before. There is a problem. First is, I have my own opinion, but I did not do it. I still ask suggestions to my colleagues. How to do this one, how to solve this one. And then they give me some inputs. And I put it together. So, you have to seek data. So, have you experienced this kind of problem? Yes, sir, I have this one. See, how did you solve this one? How did you approach this hard-headed master guide training? So, ano pag-approach? So, inalingon, sir. So, second is this one. Combine personal experiences to make decision making. Example, I experienced this one before, so I will apply it here. This example, you experience this kind of decision making. So apply your experiences before. Apply. So because experiences also is a good factor for decision making. Example, before, inani ako experience, but I will not do this one. So, this one is combine experiences and intuition. Namun tayo ang mga intuition ba? Kaya bitang diretso, I will do this one. So, combine two, then you will come up to a good decision making.
So, when there is a certain crisis arises, so there are times that you don't have to make a decision right on time. So you have to ask others first before you make a decision.
But make decision timely.
Okay. So delay kayo.
Delay, do not make decisions that is delayed. Timely, meaning to say, timely means, it doesn't mean that you have to give directly the solution. No. It's timely means, timely ba, you have to think first before you give your decision. That's decision making. Actually, decision making, important, based on experience. Once there's problem, think first, what will I do? What will be the outcome? If I will do this one, what are the possible outcomes? So, but you have to give decision timely. Timely siya. Di po kay, karong problem, pila pa ka months, then after months pa ka. So, it should be timely.
And also, I've learned, sir, na as leaders, it should not be open-minded.
Yes, open-minded. You think that this person, whatever or his or her background, you should respect or look at that person, that this person will play a significant role sa inyong decision making. It doesn't mean kani palagay siya. Yung idea niyo wala dali ba? But if you think that person, this person plays important role, so you have to ask his or her suggestion. Ask. It's easy to decide on your own, but it is best to decide to make decision once you ask some others about their decision. Corporate, but nana. So,
Sir,
binyo na ka?
dili pa.
Sige
Sir, thank you kayo.
No
So,
problem.
once we will go outside the pillars of this institution, we will carry your advice as
Yeah.
our valuable gift when we are in the field.
Again, in my opinion, that's based on my experiences. It might be you will learn from others' experiences. That for my answer is based on my experiences. For me, it's based on experience and positive outcomes pa. It might be my experience, others might have experience. So you learn others also experience. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
You are a part of our success one day because of your advice.